all, and welcome to this episode of What Cause Inspires You. I am your host, Alina, and today I have with me Angela, April, and Katie. Alicia Gupta, my friend and fellow Humanity Rising ambassador, launched the What Cause Inspires You podcast as a way for students to share the service they're doing in their communities. We encourage youth who are making a change to improve the world to speak up about their stories and become a leader in the movement. Angela Ma, Katie C., and April Wu are high school seniors attending Fremd High School in Palatine, Illinois. In May 2020, they founded the volunteer organization Budding Companions with the goal of promoting optimism and providing companionship to senior citizens amid the coronavirus pandemic. Through virtual conversations, games, performances, and other interactive activities, they have been able to foster a special intergenerational connection between students and senior citizens. Budding Companions has currently reached over 30 nursing homes across America with a growing network of over 100 student volunteers. It's so exciting to have you guys here with us today. Thank you for joining, and I'm sure everyone is excited to get started. So to roll things right off, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Yeah, so we're all currently seniors attending William Fremd High School in Palatine, Illinois. And for me personally, in school, I really enjoy being a part of the student council and also our school newspaper. And this has been a very nice way for me to engage with the school community and also be able to interact with the student body. And outside of school, I really enjoy doing traditional Chinese dance and also volunteering for my Chinese school every week. And so currently most of this is done virtually. And so I think that dancing has actually been one of my inspirations behind founding Budding Companions with my co-founders, because before the pandemic, I would dance every year for the residents in person. So really just being able to see their smiles and being able to bring joy into our community has been something that I've always really been passionate about.
Yeah, so I'm Katie, and I'm also a senior at Fremd. And during school, I'm a part of the tennis team and also robotics club. And through there, I find it really great to just meet people and just make friends that way. And then outside of school, I enjoy playing the piano during my free time. And yeah.
And hi, I'm April. I'm also a member of the tennis team like Katie, and at school I'm also involved in Scholastic Bowl, and outside of school I really love to cook and bake. I really enjoy exploring cultures through this way, and I also play piano for fun.
Could you guys kind of go over how you were able to come together and start the idea of Budding Companions in the first place?
Alrighty, so in terms of our inspirations behind founding Budding Companions, so all three of us have had in-person experiences volunteering for nursing home residents in the past before the onset of the pandemic. So whether it was through like dance, musical or instrumental performances, or other activities, this has been a great way for all of us to spread joy and really engage with the senior population. But with the onset of the pandemic, the senior citizens were socially distanced from their loved ones, their families, and their friends. So this really prompted us to move on to a more virtual platform in order to facilitate companionship and conversation with these senior citizens. And so being able to explore these virtual options has really been able to connect our student population with the senior population. And these interactions have always really filled our hearts with warmth.
Yeah, so having finalized our idea to connect students with senior citizens, we took our next step by reaching out to local nursing homes here in Illinois. We turned to Google Maps to look for nearby nursing homes, and we just cold called down the list of activities directors that we could find. Unfortunately, we were left with a lot of tones of voicemail or despondent, sometimes polite rejections, but we refused to let a slow start halt our operation, and we continued calling more nursing homes. In doing so, we were given the opportunity to collaborate with approximately 20 out of the 300 nursing homes that we had called just during the summer of 2020. This built the foundation for Budding Companions. From there, we promoted our organization to students by reaching out to friends, peers, and teachers. We didn't gain much traction there at first either, but through more trial and error, we discovered that students seemed to be most responsive through a promotion on Instagram. So over the span of the next couple of days, we suddenly gained such a surplus of volunteers that we needed to call more nursing homes in order to account for them all. We didn't want to crowd all the volunteers into a few sessions, because that would just take away from the companionship built between the residents and the group. So we set about calling more nursing homes until we were able to comfortably settle all the volunteers into the nursing homes. To this day, that balance is still being experimented with, but I think we're continually getting better and better at finding that perfect balance.
I know that many listeners might be interested in joining the cause that you guys have started. So, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about how students can join Budding Companions and what current volunteers do?
Yeah, okay. So first, students can join by signing up through our Google form that requests their contact information and availability, and that form will be located on our website and on our Instagram page. Secondly, our current volunteers typically work in groups of 5, and they engage in conversations, games, performances, and other interactive activities with the senior residents. During the conversations, students will fill the residents in on the highlights of their week, and the residents will share their fascinating moments of their lives. Especially with their decades of additional experience, they seem to have an endless supply of stories to pass on to our volunteers. Additionally, some common games include Pictionary, Guess the Song or Animal Sound, and trivia. Sometimes, though, our volunteers will bring the outside world in for the residents by screen sharing virtual tours of zoos. Especially after being stuck indoors during quarantine, that snippet of the outside may really just brighten up their days. Moreover, we have many talented volunteers who can sing, dance, or play their instruments tailored just for the residents. For instance, our very first session featured our Fremd choir singing happy birthday to a resident.
YouTube sessions, which aren't live, but basically this is another volunteering option for students or participants that may not feel as comfortable interacting in live sessions, or maybe they have a talent they want to showcase. This is a great way to, so basically how this works is the participant or the volunteer sends us like a video of them performing like piano, dance, art, and so much more. And then we send that video over to the nursing home, and they usually broadcast it to an audience of residents. And that way they can still earn service hours while showcasing their talents at the same time.
I think it is evident that you guys are extremely passionate about this cause, and it's amazing that you're taking initiative to help senior citizens and provide them companionship, as this has become, I think, more important than ever during these times and the pandemic. That being said, I know during these virtual times, communication and providing companionship might be a little different. So, how have you guys ensured effective communication between volunteers and senior residents?
Yeah, so basically, I think we began this communication process in our intro meetings, which is a meeting we usually have without like the volunteers, the initial stage when we're still planning sessions with a specific nursing home. And then during that meeting, we will ask the activities director, like what age the residents are, what sort of activities they enjoy, songs they enjoy, if they have any special conditions like dementia, Alzheimer's, or any other cognitive disabilities. And we just want to be aware of this so that we can notify our volunteers ahead of time about what kind of residents they might be interacting with. I think this way it allows for proper communication between the two parties. And during the sessions, we think that we let volunteers know ahead of time, like we ask them to plan activities accordingly so that they can really connect with the volunteers on a personal level.
Yep, so in terms of how we've aimed to address this generational and technology gap between the seniors and our student volunteers, initially we primarily connect with nursing homes through the activities directors. And so the activities directors normally help to set up the devices for the senior residents. And then from there, as our volunteers and nursing home residents are all connected through Zoom, we try to mimic the in-person conversational experience as much as possible. So we usually try to keep most conversations casual and lightweight, just like a simple video chat, and our volunteers and senior residents really get to know each other that way. And we focus on the exchange of experiences and learning more about each other's lives. So a lot of our volunteers have shared about their school involvement or their future endeavors. And then our senior residents really enjoy sharing about their past experiences, as well as giving some advice to our volunteers, since most of them are high schoolers. And then our volunteers always make sure to speak really loudly and clearly during the sessions, and they make sure to stay on camera, and they collaborate with each other to figure out these specific activities that they may want to try during the virtual sessions. And so a funny story, one time during one of our initial sessions, a senior resident has asked a volunteer, how come I'm able to see you, but you're in your home? So then this was a very funny time when we had to explain the whole process of how Zoom works and how technology works and why we're able to connect in this way. And so I think that all in all, it's just been a great learning process for both ends because the volunteers are all able to gain some advice from the residents. And we always try to keep the residents very engaged and help them become more familiar with technological communication. And we've really grown to bond through the intergenerational relationships that we've formed. And so something really cute is we actually did receive a thank you card from one of our nursing homes, the Grand at Twin Lakes in Illinois. And so in this card, we just have a lot of residents who signed off on the card and a note from the activities director as well. So I think a really cute note is a resident named Debbie. She said, "Can't wait to see you all again. We miss your smiles and sparkling eyes." So I think that has become something that our volunteers and residents always really look forward to, and it's really sweet.
So I can definitely tell that you guys have left a positive impact on the senior citizens, but is there an impact that budding companions has like brought into your lives?
Yeah, definitely. So for me personally, I think for a lot of us too, amid the pandemic, it's been so difficult for us to connect with each other, not only like our peers or maybe even our grandparents who don't live with us and everything like that. So for me, it's just been a great way for me to really engage more with my community, not only with my peers who are a similar age as me, but also with the senior population. And so I think being able to form these connections during these unprecedented times is really important because we're all looking for this type of communication and companionship. And through this, we formed a lot of bonds and friendships as well. So I think in general, it's just been a really great way to stay connected with each other during these times.
Yeah, and also for me, not only did I end up like creating or like just sort of being friends with the volunteers and residents, but also it's just been like new experience. And after budding companions, like talking to residents, because a lot of these residents like we don't know beforehand. And so talking to them, it's brand new, but it's also really amazing because you also get to hear all their stories and their advice. And it just sort of teaches me to like not shy away from things because something like this, where you get to connect with these residents, is just it's really heartwarming. And yeah.
Yeah, like what Angela and Katie said, I think that Budding Companions has really helped me open up to a generation that I haven't really opened up to before. I know that I haven't really talked to my grandparents that much in the past, but after Budding Companions, I feel like it's just so much easier to talk to them. During the sessions for Budding Companions, you kind of get to learn a little bit of every senior. They have their own personality, and you really just need to find topics to talk about, and it could be anything, I think, as long as you're having a good time. And I think another thing that Budding Companions has done for me is to help me play piano again. I used to play competitively, and I think that was more for myself, but I think I realized that after seeing volunteers share their own performances with residents and just seeing the smiles on the residents' faces and just seeing them sing along to songs, I think I've really rediscovered what it really means to play a piano, to perform music, and that's just to bring joy to people around me.
It really seems like Budding Companions has achieved a lot of success, but I think we would also love to know about any obstacles that you might have encountered while developing this project or anything in general.
Yeah, so I think one of the main things that we previously mentioned as well is definitely the cold calling in terms of reaching out to the different nursing homes. So that is always an obstacle because we need to go through a long time to contact the different nursing homes to gauge their interests and see which activities directors and residents would benefit from these interactions. And in addition to that, I think something that is also quite an obstacle many times is actually maintaining a balance between our other high school extracurriculars and our school workload and the time we need to spend on managing budding companions, since this does require a lot of dedication. And so we've had to be able to make time for that. And coordinating between our volunteers and activities directors has also been something really important. So for both ends, our schedules are pretty different sometimes, and our volunteers come from so many different schools and so many different grades. So we really try to work around that. And for the activities director's end, for the nursing homes, a lot of unexpected events may arise sometimes. So this often results in last minute cancellations or schedule changes. So we want to make sure that we're actively communicating through phone calling and email for that. And so overall, it's a lot of trial and error and back and forth with texting, emailing, to ensure that everything runs smoothly and that everyone can get connected through Zoom in a timely manner for our weekly sessions. And we also want to make sure to ensure that our volunteers are informed about the residents' preferences. And we want to make sure that the virtual interactions are tailored towards what would benefit most the residents.
Awesome, thank you for that answer. I'd also love to ask you guys, how has Budding Companions grown since the beginning, and what is your vision for the future?
Yeah, so I think in the beginning, we only started Budding Companions with the intention of staying in Illinois. That was really our priority at the moment. And since the beginning, as Angela and Katie said about phone calling in the beginning, it was kind of a stressful time, I would say. We were getting a lot of rejections or maybes. And I do remember, though, that final day in May, when we finally got our first nursing home in Park Ridge, Illinois. We were all sitting on Discord, like, what are we doing? Like, to be honest, I didn't really know what I was doing. But then we just followed the script with this specific nursing home, and the activities director on the other end was like, oh yeah, we can do a session tomorrow. And I was like, okay, so, we can do that. That's how we started in Illinois. Then we expanded beyond that into other states like Texas, South Carolina, Missouri, and more recently, California. And we just kind of made sure to account for different time zones so that we could have more sessions in general. In terms of our volunteers, we've grown from a very small base of volunteers to, I'd say, over 100 now. And we really have to thank our volunteers for this, for helping us spread the word. It really was like a ripple effect. We had like close friends like telling their friends, and then those friends telling their friends, and it really just has helped us grow into who we are today. So thank you.
Yep. And then in the foreseeable future, we will continue reaching out to more nursing homes and student volunteers. However, at the moment, we will not necessarily be rapidly expanding to ensure that all of our current volunteers can comfortably bond with the residents. So our goal is to promote optimism and positivity for the senior citizens, and some of them may be dealing with mental or physical illnesses. Thus, we want to dedicate the time that we feel is necessary to guide each volunteer along the way. As a result, we may not expand our organization to a major extent, but we will definitely be continuing to hunt for that perfect balance between volunteers and nursing homes.
All right, well, last questions for students who want to participate in your cause. How can they get involved with Budding Companions?
So as showcased in our video, we offer live sessions to volunteers where they can virtually interact with the senior residents from nursing homes all across the US. Of course, we understand that all high schoolers could use service hours, so all the nursing homes that we currently collaborate with offer service hours to those kind enough to spend the time with their residents. For those of you who are currently interested in our organization, you can feel free to sign up through a Google form that will be available on our website and on our Instagram page.
Yep, and as April previously mentioned, we also have our YouTube sector of Budding Companions. And so we offer service hours for our volunteers who submit videos as well. And so for this, we accept any videos ranging from 2 minutes to about 10 minutes. And each minute of the video actually translates into 1 service hour. And so our YouTube channel is mainly just sent to nursing homes who are interested in maybe like a more less like live version of these interactions. And our volunteers have showcased their musical talents, they've shared tutorials, and so it's really just, it depends on what you prefer, and a lot of creativity is involved in these videos. So we would love if you could submit some videos for that as well, and you can contact us through Instagram or email us to get more information about our YouTube channel.
Yeah, so as Katie and Angela mentioned, we have the YouTube sessions, we also have the live sessions. Those are our normal operations. However, more recently, we started collaborating with Humanity Rising on a challenge called Create a Legacy. And basically what this means is participants will write their own story about a grandparent or a resident from a nursing home. And they can do this in various ways. So far, we've planned for art, essay format, and also digital media, like a video of some sort. And I think towards the end of this challenge, we will decide winners based on these categories so that multiple winners can be chosen for a prize of some sort. We're currently planning for a gift card. And we're not sure yet about the final details of this challenge, but what we can tell you is that it will be launched in mid-April, so stay tuned for more details.
Once again, their email is buddingcompanions@gmail.com and their Instagram is @buddingcompanions. So if you have any inquiries, please feel free to message them. Thank you guys for coming out and sharing. I think this is an amazing cause, and it's inspiring to see how you are helping the senior citizens in your communities and encouraging others to do the same. If you have general questions about the What Cause Inspires You podcast series, are interested in applying as a student or expert speaker, or want to volunteer, email aliciagupta2020@gmail.com or info@humanityrising.org. Be sure to follow our Instagram and Facebook pages to stay updated on our scholarship opportunities, future podcasts, and events at humanity.rising and What Cause Inspires You. Thank you guys for attending, and we hope to see you again for next week's podcast.